Hello everyone, my name is Nathan, and today it's time for another episode of Oxygen Not Included here in the Ultimate Base 4.0 on the second planetoid with the Petroleum boiler. There are a couple of things we can actually work on, namely making the petroleum area here at the bottom a little bit more efficient. And if we get the time, I also would like to already design one of the bedrooms that we're gonna put into the hotel, so we can kind of guesstimate how much space we're gonna be needing just for the bedrooms. And of course, we'll have to consider things like, do they get a toilet in each of the bedrooms? And I would argue they do. I wouldn't expect a community bathroom in a 5-star hotel. So I decided the bottle emptiers right here are not the thing I want to go for, and there are actually a few changes we're gonna do, including the automation system. Instead of a hydro sensor, I now want a different sensor, and that different sensor is gonna be a temperature sensor, because I figured if we already go ahead and mine the solidified magma, we're gonna do it way too early. It's gonna solidify over 1,000 degrees, and then we just dig it up and put it away. Instead, we're gonna leave it as a tile until it has reached, say, 600 degrees before we mine it up, and we do that with a temperature sensor. This also means we can get rid of the bottle emptiers, and we don't even need the doors because I just use them to restrict access. We'll also get rid of the conveyor loaders here. They're gonna move over a little bit. Now looking at this, we can also get rid of the conductive panel here. Yeah, this isn't even necessary anymore, but I'm gonna be requiring a conductive panel here for the conveyor loader that we're gonna move over. So maybe I can already get this in the joint and reroute the pipes. As a matter of fact, I'm just gonna change everything necessary. So I'm gonna let the coolant go out. Then we need another panel right here. Okay, that is the cooling loop rerouted. Now we need to think about how do we instead want to pump the magma. Let me think about that. For instance, we want to pump it through obsidian insulated tiles so it doesn't melt immediately. And I think I'm just gonna let it come from the bottom. So if we assume we're gonna go up here and then into a couple of chutes, this conductive panel unfortunately is kind of necessary, though we could think about moving the transformer. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Let's think about how we pick up the magma first. If we build this out of a normal material, right now we don't have a material that can withstand the magma, but there are a couple of tricks we can actually take. For instance, we can see the pump is capable of picking up liquid that is not actually touching it at the bottom. The pump needs to be touching some liquid, but it doesn't need to be the bottom tile. So assuming the bottom tile here is going to be where we pick up the magma, we just need to make sure that there is something else in one of the other tiles. Now, assuming I still want to use this as a maintenance room, we would have to put this a little bit further down, and that means the cooling loop will also have to progress. This is going to bother me a little bit. So I think what I want to do is rotate this panel this way, and that means we are gonna interrupt this pipe here and actually make a liquid bridge. Next up, somewhere here at the bottom, we're gonna have our pump, and I think what we should be able to do is have 2 bottle emptiers. That means we need this a little bit lower. We're then gonna have our 2 bottle emptiers standing on these insulated tiles. The magma should then be dropping down into this tile here, or maybe the 3 tiles, and we can just go ahead and close this off, I guess. Maybe if we're willing to do this a little bit differently, it's gonna be better. It's not gonna be symmetrical, but I think we're gonna benefit from this. So I can have it like so, dropping the magma in here, and everything that flows 1 tile over should be able to be picked up. Then I could use, for instance, this part in order to gain access to the room. Good. Now, all we need to make sure is that we put some other liquid on this tile that is constantly being picked up and cycled. So it will just be picked up and dropped as it is. There's not really a lot of space for what I have in mind, but let's say we go up here, then we can have a sensor, let's say a element sensor, and right on top we're gonna have a chute dumping the liquid back down again. So we only continue with the magma. We will be continuing with the magma straight up like so, hopping over. Now let's make sure this is also built out of obsidian so it doesn't overheat eventually, like so. And that means I can have my vent. Now I'm not sure, this might actually have to be built out of steel, so we should be sending over some more steel from the main planetoid. Let's see, manufactured steel, allow manual use. I'm just gonna send over like 1 load. That should be good. Who is doing it? Gene, thank you very much. Oh, come on, sometimes they take forever. Yes, okay, that's filled up. So disallow manual use, and we can go back. Nisbet, you can also finish the ladder here. And I guess, yeah, I might have to go up there in order to reach everything. But now we can go ahead and move this conveyor loader. I'm gonna move it over here. That should be fine. That also means the rail has to move somewhat, and this is gonna be there. Okay, now hold the phone. This auto sweeper should be gone. By the way, I think my rocket should now be filled up. Yeah, all the water is inside, so we're gonna go ahead and actually make our way back to the main planetoid. Now thinking about it, this liquid vent here doesn't even need to be made out of steel, but the liquid vents here at the top might. And now we can also connect them with the insulated pipes, and the other one can just be out of normal material. We also need to make sure that we set this up with some automation wire. And of course, whenever we detect the mysterious liquid, probably naphtha, if we can get a hold of it, we're gonna go ahead and set it up. As for the sensors, as mentioned, thermo sensors right here made out of steel, and they will actually go ahead and activate the robo miners. So as soon as we detect, say, below 600 degrees, we want to activate the robo miners. Now let me not waste my steel for the wall action there, and we do the same thing on the other side. So it's just going from the sensor to the robo miner when we detect that the solidified tile has cooled down enough, and then once it's mined up, it's going to be immediately picked up by the auto sweeper, and a new batch of magma is going to be pumped up by this liquid pump. Now we'll have to see how we do this, maybe with a meter valve. Though on the other side, I don't really want to stop it. Ooh, okay, maybe a filter or buffer gate. So we could take the green signal from the robo miners and put it down to the pump. But I really think we need lots and lots of magma, so we cannot just pour in like 200 kilograms. By the way, this sensor, let's assume, is gonna detect naphtha. Now I really already want to hook this up, so I think I have to get rid of my batteries for now so they don't overheat. So now all I need is a way to cool down the pump. Oh man, this would be so much better here. So if I cool down the pump here, then actually go up through the center. Yeah, let me try that. So this is not gonna be my magma. Instead, I will be leading the magma straight up here. That means I could move over with my supercoolant and oh, what did I just do? I don't know. Just make my way down here into the conductive panel, and then we go straight up again. Okay, that makes sense. Now I've made so much chaos, I don't really know what's going on, but I think the loop should now be correct. Let's just wait what happens when we build everything. Jeez, I'm still struggling with this freaking plant. Do I have to get another space heater? No, I don't even have the power for this. Let me see what's up with the gases. Yeah, I figured this is a huge problem. Okay, it's finally time. Let's just dump this. Oh, it's not being dumped. You have to go into the other direction. Okay, now it's being dumped and my carbon skimmer can work again. Also, okay, I get it. Man, I'm so stupid. I was struggling with this, but if we divided 50 by 50, then the toilets just don't have enough water. This is a huge problem because the toilets, they need water in order to function, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, now we can use it again and produce new water. That means I really need to make sure it first goes up and then to the toilets. And we can do that like so. Maybe make sure that we build this first. Yeah, that is gonna fix my system. First into the toilets, then the carbon skimmer, and only afterwards we're gonna get into the hydroponic farm. Now, of course, that means I also have polluted oxygen in here. Considering the temperature of our base, it's not really a huge issue, but we'll have to take care of it. This is also gonna require a little bit of power, which we can provide. I think as of this point, I'm gonna make it into steel. Now, we don't have any naphtha on the second planetoid, which shouldn't be an issue. We have this system right here that leads directly into this first launcher. Let me see, and it's pointed to the correct planetoid. So we could simply send over one load of naphtha without any issues. I should still have some here, except I can't find it. It's now labeled as liquid naphtha. Okay, I see. There she is. It's 37 kilograms. So let's say we are just gonna send over 30 kilograms here. As soon as we reach the 30, we want to send it over and shoot. Oh, by the way, I figured out the diamond press also requires rat bolts, so we will be building it up here. Maybe that is something we can work towards if we get some spare time. There's my naphtha, 10, 20, and 30 kilograms. So it would be great to just use those. Oh, it's now just 6 kilograms in the first packet. Now it's 10 kilograms again. Wow. That is super confusing. It is 26 kilograms. Okay, we're gonna try with that because it's enough, but this is kind of stupid. I want to regulate this much better. So now I'm gonna bring the rest up a little bit and then we are just gonna get it out of there. Okay, now currently the liquid that I'm getting is directly going in here, and of course that would be pumped up immediately, which is not good. So we need a little extra step here. Ooh, right here I'm gonna lose it. This is a little bit harder than I anticipated. I'm just gonna disable the auto sweeper instead, and then I'm gonna be picking up the naphtha manually. I think this is less trouble than building an elaborate system. It's gonna arrive in 70 seconds. Let's get ready for that. Nobody's picking it up. Very good. Liquid naphtha. Now if we empty that storage, right, we should be able to just get that bottle, hopefully. Oh, please be a bottle, be a bottle, be a bottle. Yes. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, now we can enable the auto sweeper again. And now somebody please build this insulated tile so that we can put the naphtha here. For now, I don't want to do it yet, but I'm just gonna set it up and hopefully they're not gonna bring it elsewhere. Finally, they have built the tile in question. Ari should be bringing the naphtha bottle now. Maybe. Yeah, there he is. Wonderful. And it's gonna spill over. No, not even. Okay, yeah, we're below the 36 kilograms required to spill over. So this is kind of perfect. Now the liquid pump is registered as submerged in water, but it's not gonna be touching the magma. I really like to see it. We're gonna fill this up with a little bit of obsidian and then maybe the rest with granite here. And then we can make the bottle emptier actually face the correct side over here. So we have two bottle emptiers to drop down the magma. Now bottle emptiers cannot actually be steered with logic. This could be an issue. Even if I detect a certain amount of magma here, I cannot prevent my dupes from using the bottle emptiers unless I put them, say, on a door. I really don't know what to do now, unless I just want to use one bottle emptier, but it would be so much more efficient, doubly as efficient, since we can just grab 400 kilograms of magma and put it into the two bottle emptiers. So I guess the only reasonable thing we can do is just prevent them from getting in altogether. That means if I detect enough magma here, then we should be capable of bringing this up, and then we're just gonna connect those to the doors and close them. This means they just need to go above this, but they will still be able to access everything. I think I can live with this solution. The thermosensors I'm gonna set to above 600 degrees as mentioned. This is the first setting we're trying, so that means as soon as the solidified tile goes below 600, actually that means below 600, robominers will do their job, then the auto sweepers will pick up the debris, and at the same time the signal should be brought down so we know when to activate the system. And I think we're just gonna go ahead and bring this down this wire so we can do I want that? No, not really. I don't want to open up the doors, but we might want to activate the pump. This is a good idea. So we bring the signal over, and I guess we want to make sure that both tiles actually have reached the same temperature, which they normally should, but you know, just making sure. We can do that with a simple AND gate here, and then if we wire this into here and there, it should be easy. Yeah, we can just go out here. It's going to complain about overlapping ports, but we should be fine here. Now, will you look at that? It actually works. So the pump is pumping in pulses, which is absolutely fine. And it's doing that because we don't detect anything here. But we don't want to do this immediately. Or do we? And what happens if we get the first liquid? Yeah, this is not good. We need to ensure that the signal stays on for a long time. So with a buffer gate. Where should I squeeze this in? Probably here. Yeah, actually, this might be better. So we can just go and move over there into the buffer gate. So that means even if we get a little bit of magma here onto the thermosensors and they start sending a red signal, we are still capable of keeping the green signal for a while. So the pump can get a respectable amount inside of the tiles. Say we're just gonna bump this up to 200 seconds for the time being. And now this should stay on forever until we have filled this up with magma. So it's time to bring up the magma at the highest priority, copy the setting, and as soon as we got enough in here, namely above 500 kilogram in this tile, then the doors are gonna close. As for these conveyor loaders, we're just gonna pick up everything. And so now if everything goes according to plan, we should see, oh, no pending deliveries. What's up? Pitcher pump. I probably forgot to enable the auto bottle. Yeah. I think we can ship some in before downtime. Yeah, look at that. 400 kilograms in one go. And wait a second. Did that actually work? No, not yet. Wait. What's happening? No power. Are you serious? Oh, gosh. Okay, but at least the thing here seems to be working. The magma is continuing and we're dumping it evenly. Okay, now we seem to be struggling with power a little bit, but this should be picked up and then we just need to wait for the initial cooling phase to be over. But yeah, this is all still sending a green signal. Come on, come on, come on. And as soon as we are in vacuum, by the way, we register a very, very low temperature. So it's definitely below 600 degrees. Come on. Oh, what's up with the cooling loop? Why aren't you continuing? Oh, looks like I missed a bridge here. But here we can see more magma is making its way up. Right now, the way this works, if we don't get enough magma that is hot enough, it's not going to solidify into a tile. And of course, that will be the primary thing that we want to do with this. Now, thinking about this is all going into the base right now. This might actually not be too bad. Oh, actually, it might be really bad. Holy cow. But that is because the cooling loop that is actually really cold at 5 degrees isn't running. We should be fixing that in just a second. But yeah, it looks like in the beginning, we need to make sure that the stuff isn't actually getting inside the base. So I'm just going to dump it outside. Okay, cooling loop is going for it again. That is good. We can also cool down the pump and then, of course, the base as well. Okay, now the problem is this is still not working as long as we're losing this much heat. Oh my gosh. Instead of having these metal tiles, I'm now gonna install a mechanized door right here. I can then get rid of this metal tile right here and actually have a liquid sensor. So we first can build up a little bit of liquid that isn't getting converted, and that will hopefully solve the last of the problems that we have. So I'm just gonna need a hydro sensor here. That also means we need to reroute the cabling, and that cable is just going straight up into the door, closing it when we have enough liquid. Now we're running this through the base again and we have cooled down. Okay, thankfully. Hydro sensor is in place. I want to send the signal when we are, let's say, above 500 kilograms as well. This is definitely gonna form a tile, probably. And it should be below. So we open the door and only once we reach the 500 kilograms, we're gonna relay the power. Or the heat, I should say. We can also see the doors are now working. So bottle emptiers aren't prioritized anymore. And now that we have built the background, I should also be able to connect the pipes again. Ooh, okay. Did you just see that? Well, that usually doesn't happen because it's not inside of the pipes, right? So that should just be an outlier. But let's connect this again. And we are now dropping the magma. Since it's not touching anything else, it's also not being converted here. Nice bed. Perfect sleeping spot. And we'll be dropping more and more magma until it can actually move over. The first few got converted to heat up the sensor, but now you can see we're all good. And as soon as we have reached 500 kilograms, the doors... okay, we solved all the problems. Now we will be seeing lots and lots of petroleum. Oh yeah. Now that we have a sensor to detect everything, all this shebang is actually not necessary anymore. I will be able to just bring the signal straight down, not from this sensor, but from the sensor here. And therefore the pump is going to be active for as long as this sensor is green. Very nice. Oh no, looks like I dropped some gold at some point. Very bad, very bad. Molten gold. I'm gonna drop that here. Sweep only. Good. There it is. Almost 500 kilograms. We should be seeing the door closing. Yes. And at the same time, the pump doesn't pump up anymore. Gosh, are you serious? Okay, there's one more issue. What if this actually gets solidified? Then it's gonna send a different signal, right? It's not gonna detect any more liquid. You know, we'll see. Right now, we are using the temperature to heat this up. The rest of the magma just poured in and ooh, it wasn't sufficient. Okay, that is actually disappointing. So we'll just have to bring this up to a higher number. Let's say, what is the maximum? Let me actually see. What is the usual amount in a tile is 1,800 kilograms. Okay, so we should be good with 1,500 kilograms, but you know what? This might take a while to pump up. Good, we now got 1,500 kilograms of magma in this tile, which translates to approximately 1,350 in the center tile. So I'm assuming 1,500 kilograms will be just fine, and we get 3 entire solidified magma tiles to transfer the heat. So I'm expecting a little bit of action this time around. There is the 500 degrees, and look at that. Oh yes, 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 heating up, heating up. This is good. Let's check out the sensor. 82, 83, 85. 5, okay, and we still got some heat in here, 1440 degrees now. I think we're gonna convert the magma at 1409 degrees, but this is now way more efficient, yes, of course. And there it happens. We got a solidified tile. That means this opens up and sends a green signal to the pump. So this is not good. We have to change that. So there would have to be a second condition, like the temperature at 600 degrees as well, right? That means I need my AND gate back, and we're just gonna take the signal from this guy. Another problem arises. What if we still want to transfer the heat while this is solidified? Yeah, it's really unfortunate that this sensor here changes again. I wish it only changed once the tiles actually have gone. So that means not only the pump, but also the door will have to be steered by this AND gate. Yeah, for simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna do it right now, but I will be making this a little bit nicer looking. Right now, I just wanna make sure that we haven't forgotten anything else. Please, duplicants, build this. Now the door is closed and we can keep on sending over the heat. I built something out of coal. Oh, gosh, of course I had to mess this up. And you can see we're still leeching off the heat from these initial tiles, so they are really gonna last for a long time. We're now at 340 degrees. What we want to reach is a 390 for now, but afterwards 400 to really start the conversion. Good. For my sanity, I now need to get this on the wraps. So let's continue with the process. Let's assume we have reached the below 600 degrees and therefore the stuff is being mined up. And now that this has happened, new magma can be pumped up here. Let me see. Why isn't it working? Oh, I disabled the pump. Just have to connect this again. Okay, wonderful. Now the new magma is being pulled over. And as soon as we reach the 1500 kilograms again, we should be able to continue the process. But yeah, overall, I think it's still going to be a fairly quick process. Just dropping the entire 1500 kilograms would have been a little bit better, like I usually do it. But you know, I fancied a little bit of a different design, and like that, I feel like it's working. Now, these bastards really disappoint me. They actually can reach the bottle emptiers even though it's closed. Never mind those stupid bottle emptiers. I'm gonna find another trick off camera. Can we still... Yeah, look at that. Just doing it through the doors. I hate you. Ready for round 2. The door just closed. We can relay the heat. Some of the magma is still pouring in, but we now shouldn't be bringing it along anymore. Temperature here is going up. Temperature here as well. Now we have reached the 100. No, we actually only reached the 300 degree mark here. Now let's see what happens once the tile actually solidifies. Ooh, I don't want that. Oh yeah, I totally forgot to reset the sensor here. Okay, whew. Thankfully no fault in the system just yet, because now we first need to reach the 600 degrees before anything else happens. Yes, we finally did it, guys. Oh my gosh, this took a long time. Now I just have to wait for the thermo sensor here. Let's do that. Oh, we have the first petroleum here. So maybe 390 is already... Wait a second. How is that possible? Maybe it flashes right here at the bottom where it's a little bit hotter, like the tiles are 100 degrees hotter, right? Either way, it doesn't look like we're gonna be needing a lip here because more oil is incoming. Interesting. Okay, so the oil, of course, is counteracting the heat we are currently producing. Now, of course, the goal of this contraption is that in the end, we only need a slight amount of extra heat to convert the petroleum because it has been preheated by the petroleum that goes out. So once it is running, it should be a very efficient system. Right now, we are still waiting for this to actually go below the 600 degrees mark, so we can still leach off that. But as long as we have so much crude oil incoming, we cannot really do anything. Ooh, is this overpressuring? Okay, no, it is still moving. Thank you. Come on, boots, just a little bit to go, and then we have our first petroleum running down the aisle. It's gonna be a glorious moment. I spent like 3 episodes on this thing. Well, I would say this can now be run in the background a little bit. I will probably be moving the pneumatic door so they cannot access anything of this once I don't want them to. Otherwise, they're just gonna overfill this and heat up my pump and just screw everything up. But until then, I'm pretty happy that we have now unlimited petroleum. All we have to do is basically make sure on the third planetoid we also have the same infrastructure and that we send the oil over on a regular basis. Alright then, and just a couple of cycles later and we have our flowing petroleum. I had to add this lip here that I've been talking about before because the oil had the tendency to spill over, but this way we always ensure the petroleum comes first, and you can see it's now flowing down. We can also see that it gets colder the lower it gets, so the incoming oil will be preheated, and the oil inside of these pipes, for instance, is also already 270 degrees. So once it drops, it doesn't need to leach that much heat anymore. Right now, the only thing that concerns me is that the mechanized airlocks never really opened. That feels like it's not going to be the most efficient it could be. On the other side, I constantly see the petroleum converting, and we're only losing a little bit of heat here. Like, the sensors are still at 700 degrees. So I would say our only inefficiency right now is the magma transportation. For instance, I only have 2 tiles. That means I cannot even fill the 3 tiles in one go. I'm dependent on my duplicants to actually come here. We might be able to fix that by deconstructing this tile so we can keep 3 tiles, but then we mustn't forget magma doesn't flow very well, and we are only able to pick up this tile. So everything that remains in the other 2 tiles is lost. But still, we will be closer to the amount that we actually need in here, and that still means there's going to be like a minute or so where we are actually not utilizing this to the best of our abilities. On the other side, I can now see we are getting the petroleum. There's already what, 114 kilograms on the floor. So let's maybe set up a hydro sensor, making sure we have at least a little bit. So I'm gonna set this up right here, and next to it we're gonna have a pump. I'm still gonna build this out of gold amalgam just to make sure that we don't overheat anything, and then all we need to do is bring this to the teleporter, right? Which is all the way here at the bottom. So maybe we can do this easily. We're just gonna hop out here. Now, let me actually make this the bridge. So the oil is gonna be part of the bridge. Then I'm gonna bring this down over here, and we're just gonna make our way down all the way to the teleporter level, which is here. Ooh, that is a little bit unfortunate, but I guess we can just go straight through here. This is a hot polluted oxygen vent. I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna need that. We're gonna have the same setup here on the other side with a hydro sensor and a pump. Let's also set up the cabling. I just want to make sure that we have like 200 kilograms on the floor before we start pumping up, so I can also make sure the batteries here stay cold. As you can see, this seems to be working out nicely. Let's now wait for this sensor to reach the 500 degrees. We are almost there, 664. Oh no, it's not foolproof. Why do you have to do this to me? Okay, so there is some leakage. Let me think. This could be... let's make the lip here instead of here. Okay, that might actually work out better. So now if there's only one spot for the liquid to go up, it's always going to be the correct liquid, the petroleum that is lighter. Oh, we have to make sure this is built here. There we go. Okay, and we can also release all the petroleum that we have here, and the crude oil I'm actually going to move over here and empty it as well. My sensor is now at 616 degrees. Metal tiles are still hot. Yeah, I feel like this is working out. Previously, I brought the oil here, and now everything is overheating. Thankfully, there's a simple solution, just deconstructing one of the previous liquid reservoirs. There's some nice fresh cold crude oil that we're now gonna empty, and do this quickly. Ari, do it. Okay, Nispet did it, and now everything can actually cool down again. So it goes below the overheat temperature. Very nice. We just replaced the reservoir as if nothing happened. Alrighty, I went back to the drawing board once again. I'm sorry, I know a lot of you are frustrated about this because you try to replicate some of the stuff that I do here, but this is literally a let's play. The way I play the game is I figure stuff out in iterations, sometimes with your input, in order to, in the end, get a really cool result. And with all this automation domino that we made now, I ended up with something that is actually rather simple. Namely, we have a starting and ending condition. The starting condition is we register less than 600 degrees. That's when we want to get the pump started. That's when we want to open the door and also activate the robominers. With the memory toggle gate, we can achieve just that by registering the temperature here with this sensor. If it's below the 600 degrees, base, it's gonna get into the input and activate the signal. And then it's gonna be pumping up. The pump is gonna get the magma into the chamber. And as soon as it touches the sensor is gonna turn red one more time, but we still have saved the signal inside of the memory toggle. And then only once we reach the 1500 kilograms with this sensor, we are gonna reset the signal and turn it red again. So we have a starting and ending condition for the pump and everything, and once that is done, the door is gonna close again and the heat transfer can happen. Thankfully, we ended up with a rather simple solution. Also, I flooded my batteries, but we're now pumping over the petroleum, so this shouldn't matter anymore. Look at that. We can now actually enjoy the fruits of our labor. Together with the water, we are actually now pumping over the petroleum. So now the only thing that we're missing is a steady source of oil, which I'm currently working towards on the third planetoid by making it more comfortable and also establishing a better oil infrastructure. But here we go. Stuff is going over to the main planetoid. Let's check this out. It should be going right here, being filtered out from the polluted water, and now it's distributing into my system here. So it's going to be filling up the petroleum room here once again, and we don't have all of this off-gassing going on. And on the other side, it's also going to feed my power system just a tiny little bit, which I might stock up here with a couple of reservoirs. But, you know, now we actually have to do something on the third planetoid to make this happen. We're already out of oil. This was to be expected when building a petroleum boiler, that we'll have to ramp up the oil process. But now this should be working. I will be able to send May back on another mission. It's Nisbet. Yeah, Nisbet, you can go back to the main planetoid. Maybe I'm gonna send you to the hotel planetoid in order to start working on that. But yeah, now we actually got it working. We're gonna be working on the third planetoid in the next episode. I'm already gonna start a little bit and see how far I get before we meet us in the next episode. Thank you so much for your patience and watching today's episode. Have a great time, and hopefully I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Bye bye.